He will also need some power for his potty. Now a potty, I think, I'll show you, I'll go and get a potty in a minute. It's not one you poo in. Well, you could, if you were really desperate, if the night gets that bad, you could poo in it, but you won't get much poo in it. Welcome to another episode. I think we've all decided that we should go and road rally this. Road rally or target it. The rules are pretty much the same for both, so we could do either, but I really fancy doing a road rally because that's where I kind of started competing, was in road rallies, and there's not much information about them. They're not really talked about that much. It's a little bit underground, if you like. So it'd be good to maybe go and do one. And this car actually did a lot of road rallies in the past. I'll try and dig out some photos of it doing rallies. I know some of the previous owners. It's been around a bit, this car. It's done a few events. So let's resurrect it and take it back into the lanes, as they say. Let's take it back into the lanes and give it a good blast. But yeah, so what we're going to do today in today's episode is I'm going to talk a little bit about road rallies and Targas, and I'll tell you about the rules and regs and what kind of spec we need to get this to compete in those events. They're a lot more relaxed than stage rallying. Stage rallying, there's loads of rules to comply with that. There's a lot less that you need to go and do this. So again, it's keeping on the budget theme, but it's competing at with less amount to spend, if you like. The only thing is, on a road rally, you've got to stay up all night and you get a hangover after it from just being so tired. But basically, to go road rallying, you can do it in a standard production car. So you can go to a showroom, get a car, and you can go and do a road rally. So the rules are very, very relaxed. But if I remember, one main rule is you're not allowed any more than 4 cylinders. It's got to be a standard layout of engine. You're allowed to upgrade the engine or put a different engine in. So I could put maybe a Vauxhall. I mean, the rules do change, but I'm pretty sure I could put, say, a Vauxhall engine in this, as long as it had the standard injection and the standard plenum on it, and it was no more than 4 cylinder, 16 valve. I could put that in there and do a road rally. Or, obviously, you keep it standard. I could have this completely standard with no cage on it, nothing, just come out the garage, out the showroom with a 4 cylinder in it, single carb. I think it's 1 carb per 16 valves, something like that. I will maybe cut the little bit of that rule out and put it on screen. Other rules are, you do not need a roll cage. That is not essential. But I would probably recommend, if you're going to be doing any kind of competition, I'd put a roll cage in, because it's just safety, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to be batting down a back lane and you roll, you want to know that you're not going to get crushed by your own vehicle. So the other rules, which aren't, so I'll keep on the technical regulations maybe. So we know that about the engines. So we're going to keep it standard. This is going to be how it came out the showroom in theory. We're allowed to modify it. You know, you're allowed to put a different exhaust system on it. You could put a lumpier cam in it if you wanted to. You can change the gearbox, but you've got to keep it H pattern. You're not allowed any sequential gearboxes. So it's got to be the standard type H pattern gearbox, but you could put a gear kit in it. You could put an LSD in it. Lights. You're not allowed any HIDs, you're not allowed any LEDs, so you've got to have the standard lights, but you're allowed no more than 4 forward-facing lamps, so you can put a big spot lamps in it. Those spot lamps have got to be a certain diameter, within a certain diameter. Again, I can put that somewhere, I think it was 220 mil, something like that. So I'm allowed to put a pair of spotlights on there, really bright ones. Again, they're not allowed to be LED or sodium or anything like that, so they've got to be just a standard filament bulb. We're going to guard the underneath. When I get it up in the air, we'll have a look at all that. What other rules are there? Tyre, there's a tyre rule. So there's a certain list of tyres that you're allowed to use. and they have to have an E mark on them. There's also, you're not allowed any race tyre, you're not allowed any proper race tyres. They've got to be like a road legal derived tyre. Wheels are fine. I think you can run any wheel as long as they're not over 9 inch or something like that. So you can run pretty much any wheel, but the tyres, there are certain rules on tyres. So that's some of the basic rules. I'm going to get it up in the air now, and we'll go around it and we'll see, we'll kind of make a little list, a little rough list of what we need, and what I need. I might do a shout out to anyone who's got any bits that can help us out or point us in the right direction. So I'll make a list of what we need, and we'll just have a general look over the car, because I know we've had it in a couple of times. You've met the car. We haven't really gone through it properly, so that's what we're going to do today. So let me chuck it up in the air and we'll see what horrors lie underneath, because I have not been underneath there for a long time. Going up. Come and look under my Peugeot. Actually, no, don't. My Peugeot is not bad, actually. So this is like a base model XS Rally subframe. The GTIs have a bit thicker subframe and different bottom arm setup. Probably be an idea to put the bigger ones on, but I don't think I will. I think I'll leave it as it is. Under here, we're going to have to put a sump guard. So I think there's some brackets you can get that go onto here somewhere, and then you've got a bar going across there, and then you bolt the guard to that. So that's, again, I'll keep referring to the rules as much as I can, but you don't need any guards underneath. You can do it without, but I'm thinking it's good to protect the car, because we're racing in the end. So we're rallying and we're going to be going off-road. It's not all on tarmac. Some of it's on like little back lanes, what they call whites, because that's what they like on the map. It's all maps, by the way. It's I'll talk about that before we finish. I'll tell you a bit more about it. But yeah, there's going to be some rough parts, so we want to guard the car as much as possible. So sump guard to protect that, the sump. Luckily this car, the sump is quite high and is level with the engine almost. So it's out of the way, but it's still underneath and vulnerable. So we're going to sump guard there. So maybe GTI front calipers or something, if they'll fit. I think this suspension is Bilstein. I'm pretty sure they're Bilstein suspension. So that's all right. And it sits quite high on that, so I think we'll keep those. We've got some rose jointed linkages here for the gears, which is quite nice. They've come off something else because they wouldn't be rose jointed standard. On these little bits here, they should be brake lines and fuel lines, but we're going to put all those in the car. Again, you don't need to. On one of my early road rally cars, what I did is I put a metal sheet along there, which covered the brake lines so that they were protected. I mean, you don't have to protect them at all, but it's a good idea to protect them, because the last thing you want is to rip a brake line or a fuel line and just put you out the rally. So again, not essential, but recommended. Tank, another quite vulnerable thing. It's a big plastic tank. I've got some pieces of aluminium that we can make a little guard. So even if it just comes off the body there and it's just a deflector, just to deflect things off the guard, off the tank, so that nothing punctures it. That's a good idea to do for that. Again, don't need to, but last thing you want is a hole in your tank and all your petrol on the floor. I can see some more Bilsteins. I can't remember having these, but it says Tyre on them, so I must have got them from somewhere. This axle is a 1.6 GTI axle, which is what some of the rallies ran. Somebody who knows more about Peugeots might correct me on that and say I'm wrong, but this is a 1.6 GTI axle because I put it on there. Some like to run disc axles, but I'm quite happy to run the drums and maybe just set them up so that they're really tight, and you're not supposed to really handbrake turn in road rallies, but people do. A nice set of new shoes in there and adjust the drums up nicely so that it turns. These are the handbrake cables. We'll have to do something with them. You don't need to do any of this. This is all, you can run it standard if you want, but I'm just thinking of protecting stuff. Now the body on this is pretty good. It's a bit flaky on the back here, but I'll treat all that. But there's no rust. The whole shell is pretty solid. So under here, I'm pretty happy with, we know what we want to do. So none of this is essential. You could run it as it is. But these are some of the things that I would do if I was going to go and compete. And they're quite simple things. And sump guard might be quite expensive, but you could use, when I did my first road rally, I used an old road sign. It just deflected stuff just to stop, it just gave it that little bit more protection. So there is ways of doing this on a budget. But yeah, obviously the more you can spend and the better you can protect the car, the more reliable you can make it, the more chance you have of finishing and getting a good result. So, yes, road rallying, there's a few other rules. So what we'll have to do at the start of the rally, we do our scrutineering. They'll check the car over like in most of the competition events. We sign on and they check all our insurances and things like that. We have to buy a map, so an OS map that you can buy from any camping shop or anything like that. So an OS map that's non-marked, and they'll check it to make sure that we haven't put any marks on it, like we found out where part of the route is going and things. We go back into our cars and then we plot our route then. So we're given like a list of plots. So the co-driver will have the map and he'll be plotting it, and then I'll be sat in the driver's seat and I'll be reading out the coordinates. And then he plots a route on the map with those coordinates. But the idea is to keep it at a 30-mile-an-hour average. So they put code boards in and they put route stops and things like that. So that's to slow you down, to keep the average speed down. They'll put droppers in there as well that you're not going to beat the time on. There is little things like that we'll talk about. It's a little bit like a treasure hunt in a way. Like you've got a map, you plot the route, and then you go and find the code boards and you go along this specific route. And then you go around little triangles and you've got those on your dash, the certain way of going around the triangle. You've got to stop and give way at every junction. So you're not really allowed to handbrake turn. So there's a lot of road, because they're not closed roads, these are public roads that you're technically rallying along. There's a lot of little rules that you've got to keep. And I think that's why it's a little bit of a dark, underground competition environment, really, because some of these, it's a bit of a hazy whether it's legal or not. I don't want to be the one that goes out and gets it banned or anything, so we're just going to go and do the event and we'll just do it to the rules. I want to find some bits for this. It's not far off. We've got the engine. The engine's in, I know it runs, but I haven't run it for a long time. I'd like a full exhaust system for a 205 XS or any 205 TU engine. It's got a 4-branch manifold on it, but I'm not quite happy with it, so I'd like a manifold back exhaust system. I definitely need one of those. I'd like some GTI bumpers for the back, because these are just standard ones. I'd like a GTI bumper for the back, and I'd like a GTI bumper for the front. I only need the top piece, because I have got the Rally bottom piece, but I don't really want to wreck that. I might just get painted up and keep it for good days, but we'll see. What else do I need? I could probably get rid of that, don't need that. But then again, in road rallies, it's all at night, road rallying, so it starts off at like 10 o'clock or something like that as soon as it gets dark, and then you're rallying all through the night. So one other good idea is replace one of these. So we've got to keep your fog light, so you've got to have that, because the car's got to be road legal, it's got to be MOT'd. We could have a light in here, like a reversing light, but a brighter one, because when you're going down the lanes and you take a wrong slot or go the wrong way, you could flick on a switch on the dash and it gives you a light there, and then you can see behind you better. So we could do that into there. There's some of these are missing. I don't know if anybody's got any of these or sell me any of those. The little things that go in there. We could maybe have the ones that say Rally on them. I might need a rear lens as well. Look, that one's broken. After we've done the first event, there might be a lot of things that I need. Yeah, front bumper. I need a front bumper. Not sure what wheels to run yet. These are 14-inch. I could go down a size if I keep these brakes. Could go down to 13-inch. So maybe it's best finding what tyre I need and then working it out from there. So, what else can we talk about? Licenses. Do you need a license? Yes, you do. But you just need to apply for your RS license. So you don't have to have done a bars test or anything. You just have to be a member of the Motorsport UK to do road rallying or Targa Rallying. So that's quite cheap. You don't have to spend your money going on doing the rally licenses like you do with stage rallying. You just have to be basically a member of the club. You'll also have to be a member of a motor club, which is pretty simple. You could probably enter on the night to whichever club is hosting the rally. Interior. So you have to have an interior on a road rally car. You have to have all your interior in. your carpets, your roof lining, back seats. There was a point where people were bending the rules a bit, and what they were doing is they were getting all their seats and carpets and everything, mulching them, putting them in a box about that big, and then saying that technically the interior is here. But I don't think you can do that anymore. You have to have it all in place. So we will, I think I have got some carpets somewhere, so we'll have to put carpets back in. I'm going to run some bucket seats. You're allowed to do that, but I'm not going to weld in big rails. I'm just going to modify them to fit in the standard positions, just because I don't want to go too far with this. I want to keep this at a budget, but I also don't mind using it as like a little road car toy, and maybe we could do some other events in it, but don't want to go too mad and make it unbearable to drive. I want it to be like a fast road car, if you like a road car toy. Navigator footrest, we're going to put that in there nicely, because it's always good to have the navigator to be able to rest on there. And this little switch here on the side there, you see that? What we'll do with that is we'll put an interior light, like a map reading light, so that when he comes to a control, the control is where the marshals will be, or the code boards will be, or the marshals that sign that you've been through that section or whatever. It'll switch on a light that comes on here, and you can see everything he's doing. You can see his map and everything. He will also need some power for his potty. Now a potty, I think, I'll show you, I'll go and get a potty in a minute. It's not one you poo in. Well, you could, if you were really desperate, if the night gets that bad, you could poo in it, but you won't get much poo in it. But I'll show you what a potty is in a minute. I'll go and get one. So some of these bits we will need, so if anyone's got anything out there that wants to help with this 205 project, either 205 specific parts or road rally parts, just get in touch. Yeah, quite keen to do this, and I think everyone else is quite keen. Everyone wants to go road rallying. I'll try and put road rallying in the best light I can, because it is a really good fun sport, and it's how I started, and it's how a lot of people start. These are the potties that I talked about. So it's basically, it's a bit dirty, but it's a magnifying glass which magnifies the root, and then there's a light inside it. So in there, we'll change that though to LED. There's a choice of 2 different types there. See which one's best for us. That one's got a little handle, so we could hang that on the dash or whatever, but that's quite a nice big one. Yeah, there's 2 options there anyway. We might restore them both, so we've got them. And then this is quite handy. This is a big clock, because we need to know what time to be in the controls, etc. This is the one I had out of my early road rally car, and I've still got it. Quite a handy thing. You can reset it on the side there, and then set the clock to rally time. But that's quite handy, so we'll have that on the dash clear, and then we'll restore these potties. Like I said, cannot poo in these ones. Well, you could, but you probably only get one turd in that one, and less in that one. But there we go. So just a little episode, just introducing you properly to Le 205 Rally. So we're just going to begin this project now, and we'll film all the bits as we go along, and we'll keep you updated on it. Again, if anyone's got anything, or any ways that they can help, or any ways they want to help, or if anyone wants to get involved somehow, put it in the comments, or get hold of us through one of the various outlets. But I think this will be fun. This is something I wanted to finish anyway, because it's been lingering in the background for ages. So it's a good excuse to get it done. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff that you meant to say. The channel's doing really well, because you guys are all watching it and seem to be coming back. So really appreciate that. Let's just do more and more, and we'll try and do some more driving, but obviously those episodes are harder to make. So if you bear with us with these episodes, that gives us a chance to save up and do the driving episodes. So thank you. See you soon.